Warning: graphic images of pest control. Do not watch if you might be offended. As I forgot to turn the microphone on for the first couple of squirrels, I'll fill in by giving a shout to Ben and Ollie, my latest subscribers. Now, Ben and Ollie are my niece's two boys. I have to say they could have made more effort to subscribe somewhat earlier, but of course they could make up for that by badgering their friends, if they have any of course, into also subscribing. I might pay for that last remark when I next see them, but hey ho, let's get down to the squirrels. This is my first outing with the new Alpex 4K LRF. The most obvious difference is the round display as opposed to the rectangular one that the PARD has. Makes little difference really. At the end of the day, it's the quality of the image that counts and the accuracy of the unit as a whole. The DS35-70 that I was using before had served me well. It's just that I was seduced by the 4K image, so as we do, I upgraded. It is considerably better than the PARD, and it also benefits from a wider field of view. The PARD has a base magnification of 5.6, whereas the Alpex is 3.5, and it is quite noticeable that the field of view is bigger. I do find to some extent that it's a bit cluttered by information that you don't particularly need most of the time. I've got some of it switched on at the moment, but not all of it. I will, as I get more used to it, turn off most of the images being displayed, so it's just be what's up in the right hand corner that will show. If I have a criticism of it, it's that I would like to see the LRF range distance showing in the right hand corner permanently, and that it would only change when you range. As you can hear, I have now turned on the microphone, and it is pretty I won't necessarily say impressive, but it certainly is picking up just about everything, and what you hear is a bit excessive perhaps. So I will tone that down a bit. One thing that's noticeable in the recording is the amount of birdsong. When I first started shooting this wood, there was no birdsong whatsoever. Since then I've shot over 700 squirrels, and now there's lots of birdsong. I see lots of nuthatches, long-tailed tits, blue tits, great tits, woodpeckers, not to mention all the blackbirds that are around the bottom of the feeders. It's good to see. It's the reason that we do this. Not only do the squirrels predate on eggs and fledglings, they do a lot of damage in the trees. So the upper canopy, particularly of the oaks, is quite distorted, and that's down to squirrels. Plus their tails are very useful for fly tying. As I'm publishing this video in October, the Alpex has been updated somewhat with the firmware. The latest firmware has sorted out a couple of very, very minor issues. The ballistics coefficient is absolutely spot on now. There's no need to adjust scope height for close range targets, and the ballistics is very easy to set up for long range shooting. Some people suggest that in order to get the ballistics right, the pellet speed should be adjusted. Personally, I think that's totally wrong, because we measure that with a chrono, so we know exactly what it is. The fact is that ballistic coefficient changes with speed, so it's a variable. So if the ballistics aren't quite right, change the ballistics coefficient. If the pellet is hitting high, increase the coefficient. If it's hitting low, reduce it. But bear in mind that those adjustments are really quite fine. But once got right, I'm shooting rabbits out to best part of 200 yards with absolutely no problem, and I'm sure I could do better than that with a little bit more practice. Looks like this feeder's going to need a little bit of essential maintenance. Last time I visited it, the lid fell off, so it's sort of wedged in at the moment. That's one squirrel that won't be chewing any more holes in it. I like the incremental zoom on the Alpex. You can set it for continuous zoom, but it's a bit ponderous moving in on the target. The incremental zoom going up from 3.5 to 7 to 14 to 28, I feel is pretty much spot on for most use. There I was using the continuous zoom, so rather than going up in steps of 2, it just goes up, not exactly randomly, but it's not quite as controllable as the incremental zoom. I'm still playing with the unit, getting to know it. You can see here how good the image is. You can see absolutely every hair on the tail of the squirrel. It's quite impressive. Now that's 28 times magnification. Yes, there's some pixelation, but it's an exceptionally good image, really. Well, that's a nice little bag for the first outing of the Alpex on top of my FX. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. The next video will be along shortly.